Thank you everybody for joining us today for our digital sales webinar. My name is Craig Kingsbury. I'm on the customer success team here at Issue. I'm joined by Daniel, who's going to walk everyone through just some of the benefits of selling your publications on Issue. Shortly after, we'll go and we'll do a quick walkthrough of the product, and then just show everybody just the benefits of using Issue and digital sales specifically. So I'm going to hand it off to Daniel now, who's just going to walk you through some of the benefits.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Craig. Good morning, everybody. My name's Dan Sawhney. I'm the head of publisher partnerships at Issue. And like Craig said, I just want to take a few minutes before he takes you into a deep dive into how our digital sales tools actually work, just to sort of tee up the higher level context around our digital sales product and why we think it's a particularly exciting time right now as a content creator to be offering your content for sale on Issue. As you'll see here on this slide, creators are really beginning to put paid content back at the core of their business strategy. So there's a move away from relying primarily on advertising revenue online and understanding that hasn't necessarily provided the value to content creators that they thought it might do. And really doubling down on what it is that content creators do best, which is producing great content and the value of that content and finding an audience willing to pay for that and support it financially. And at the same time, those readers, those consumers, those users are recognizing the importance of supporting their creators financially, that if they don't pay to support the content that they love, that content's not going to be able to sort of survive and keep being produced in the sort of current economy. So those two things together mean that it is a really exciting time to be considering selling your content online. And the platform and promotional tools that we offer at Issue really help you do that very easily and help you connect that content out to not necessarily just a local community, but a global community of people who love what you're doing, who want to support it. One of the real benefits is that you really can't be too niche on Issue. There is an audience for a lot of different types of content. We're very much a long tail platform in terms of the types of content that gets published on Issue and gets sold on Issue. So it's a really great way to get that content out there and to help those people who might not know about you but would love your content find you and start supporting you through Issue digital sales. And then in terms of the actual way Issue enables you to share that content that you've created, it really enables you to offer something of unique value, something that takes the best of that print long form format, that cover to cover editorial experience, but also layer in digital formats, the best of what digital can do. So you can embed video, you can link to audio, you can put in product links to support an e-commerce side of your business as well. So it's really bringing together the best of those two worlds and pushing the boundaries of what digital content can look like online. So I mentioned e-commerce there. Obviously, as much as I'm saying here that paid content is very much becoming again the core of how creators are supporting themselves online. We also recognize that you likely have a broader creative business that might incorporate e-commerce, that might incorporate advertising, that might incorporate a lot of different other strands that you're pursuing to support your business. So this enables you to sort of really layer your content into that revenue mix. Craig will show you how you can embed the reader and actually offer digital sales directly through your site to your readers. And what that means is that you can really pull together all the different ways that you're making money as a creative entrepreneur, into your website. And then we make it very easy for those readers who like what you're doing to pay you in future, receive that payment. Our partnership is with Stripe, the leading payments platform. And you'll see when we walk you through the tool how easy it is to actually set that content up for sale through Stripe and enable someone to find it and buy it very quickly and seamlessly. So with that said, here's just a quick visual sense of what the Issue reader looks like with digital sales set up. So you'll see in the top left corner that green buy button that enables a reader to buy your content via Stripe in the currencies that Stripe supports. You'll see how easy it is to embed the reader into your homepage to enable readers to instantly access your full content. We integrate with all the major social platforms, which makes it really easy for readers to share and save and like your publications, and actually, evangelize for your content out there on the wider sort of social web, and enable other people to find you. If piracy is a concern, which it is for some content creators, then we do enable you to turn off issue downloads so that people can't share your content without your knowledge, without your authorization. And then what's really cool is something that we've built recently, which has really enabled publishers to preview and promote their content much more widely to drive sales, is our issue stories tool, which allows you to take an article, a piece of content from your publication, and format that for a mobile reading experience and a social reading experience, and then easily push that out to enable people to discover you content first. So solving that problem of a reader landing on your content and just seeing the cover page and not necessarily knowing what you're about, it enables them to really sort of browse before they buy and read a couple of features that you decide to highlight, that they can then, from reading that, decide that they want to move forward and make a purchasing decision and actually read your full publication as well. So that's a very quick, high-level sense of how a digital sales works, but always good to actually get a sense of what other publishers are already using this and the type of content that they're selling. And what's really interesting is that I mentioned a little earlier that we're a long tail platform. We have so many different types of creators, so many different types of content on our platform, that hopefully a couple of these examples here will connect with you and the type of content that you're creating. One of the first publishers I wanted to highlight is Basinski, who is using us to sell an ebook that she's written called Legally Innovative. Anna's the general counsel for L'Oreal in Australia. And she's produced an ebook that really provides tips on building a career in the corporate legal space. And what's really cool about what Anna's done is she's obviously leveraging that great professional experience that she has, and also her influence on platforms like LinkedIn, where she obviously has significant following given her role, and turn that into a piece of long form content, an ebook that she's actually selling for $49.95 US on Issuu, which is obviously a more premium priced product, but we've seen really strong sales for that since the book launched, which is a great example of how digital content doesn't necessarily need to be cheap or free. Readers are willing to pay a premium price for it based on the influence of the author and the quality of the content. And that you shouldn't necessarily just assume that if you're putting a piece of digital content up for sale, you're only going to sell it if you price it at the lower end. Anna's book and other publishers that we have really speak to the fact that there is a demand for premium priced digital content. Sideburn is a UK independent motorcycle magazine that publishes with Issuu. They were founded in 2008, but their editor told me that up until now they were staunchly print. They didn't necessarily recognize the value in publishing digitally, and then they started publishing with us. They produced a digital edition because what they'd always wanted to do was find a way to make digital content work alongside all the other things they were doing. So they were already selling their print magazine, obviously. They were selling merchandise through a site on Big Cartel, but what they hadn't quite figured out to do was how to easily sell digital content in a format that really provided an engaging reading experience to the reader versus, just a straight sort of PDF download. And then they realized the Issuu was a great place that would enable them to do that. So they went ahead and posted their first digital edition with us. They embedded the reader on their homepage so that people coming through to their homepage could easily find that digital edition and buy it. And also, more importantly, they started promoting it with stories. So they understood that even if that content is sitting on their site, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be that easy to discover it. So they realized that stories was a very promising way for them to get out there to promote their content and enable people to discover them and come through and buy their magazine. And again, there's someone who, after setting up very quickly, saw significant sales activity through Issuu and were in our sort of top selling publishers. And then just one final example before I hand back to Craig, and he shows you how everything works with the tool. Another example of a sort of very unique and type of content that's being published and sold on Issuu. Latin Press Inc. is a business-to-business publisher and event company with offices in Miami, Mexico City, Sao Paulo, and Bogota. They're very much focused on the Latin American market. And what they do is sell very, very unique and valuable industry research across a number of different industries, including audiovisual, security industry, TV and radio, and even things like air conditioning and paint and coatings. So this is content that, is never going to have a huge audience necessarily, but the type of people that want this research are again, willing to pay a premium price for it because it is so valuable in terms of the information that it offers. And it's necessary for them to know what's going on in their industry and to take those insights into their daily work lives. So again, this is a piece of content that's priced at the sort of premium end. It's $110, but again, something that we've seen significant sales of, and speaks to how Issuu really can support this sort of unique and specific B2B content as well. So hopefully that's a useful way of kicking things off here. But what I want to do now is hand this back to Craig so he can show you how the digital sales tool works and answer any questions you might have about getting things set up.
Perfect, thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen here. And what we'll be doing is we'll just be walking through from the very beginning. So from uploading your publication to actually setting a price to sell it on an individual basis, and then also including it into a subscription. So just sort of how that looks from the publisher side, and then also a little bit, what that buying experience is like for the actual reader. And then we'll also jump into some of our other tools that we have available for promoting those pieces of content, either through Issuu's website directly, or posting them to your website or sharing across social media to help get that word out. So just real quick, just lay the land here. If you're not a regular user of Issuu or you're new to it, this is the Issuu dashboard. This is the first page that you see when you do log into Issuu. Again, you just click up here in the top left on the dashboard. It'll take you right to this screen. From here, you can pretty much get to anything that you need to as far as, uploading or making changes or promoting your publication. You can also see that we have some announcements down here. So this is either new features that maybe come up. It could also just be general announcements, webinars, anything along those lines. You also can just hop over to your publication list. This is where all of your publications would live. So anything that you do upload, you'll just be able to access directly from there, or make any changes to any specific publications from that point. Statistics, again, we'll be tracking everything from your publications. Statistics-wise, as far as reads and impressions go, we'll also jump into the selling statistics a little bit later, and you can see where those live. For right now, though, what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and upload a publication and then just start creating that digital sell experience through Issuu from here. So you can upload a publication from really just one of two places. Up here in the top right, you see if I hover over this, it says upload. I can also go over to publish. I just click upload from here. It's really going to take me to the same place. From this point, it's really just either a drag and drop, or you can just click into here. And then just open up whatever file it is that you want to get loaded onto Issuu. Just make sure that it's a PDF, all single page. Your publication would then be converted over in that digital flipbook, where it'll automatically turn it into a 2-page spread. So just be aware when you do upload, just have to save the single page, and the software will do that for you automatically as far as making it a double-page spread. While it's doing that conversion process, you can just go through and you can add your basic information. You'd want to put in your title, description, and in the description, you want to make sure to include any kind of, key terms, anything that's really going to help you with your SEO. Not only are people going to, find that content directly on Issuu and be able to see that description, get a better idea of it. But also people just searching on Google, it's going to come relevant up in there. It is useful to know that all the text in your document is live text, so it is all indexed by Google. So any relevant key terms that are within the publication should help too. But it also doesn't help. It always helps to have just a little bit more in the description as well. As you continue down, you just select whatever type of publication it is. If it's an older issue and you're just uploading your back catalog, you can just go ahead and you can click this. It'll open up a calendar and you can just select that date that was originally uploaded. Not only will this reflect in your publication list for your own internal purposes, but also on your public profile where all your publications will be available to readers. Those will go in the order that you choose for this. So if you upload it, it's a new issue, you just leave it the way it is. If it's an old issue, you can pick that date. We also have a feature called detected links, so auto-detected links. If you check this, any URLs, web pages, emails that are written out, our software will read that, detect those, and make those live hot links for you. If the software does miss anything, you can always go back in and click on links. You can actually just click on that right over here. Once we move along a little bit, this will become available, and you can make any kind of changes to your website's URL destinations or add anything that maybe was missed. As we scroll down, you'll see visibility settings. Typically for people selling publications, they'll want to remain on public. Sometimes there are certain things that people do want to keep as unlisted. That's essentially our private setting. This will prevent it from being visible on Issuu's website. It also won't be indexed by Google. The only way to view a publication that is clicked as unlisted is if you're sent that URL directly. But in this case, we're just going to leave it as public and just hope as many people can find it as possible. If you also want to set a publish launch date and schedule that over in the future so you can get everything set up and just basically put it in ready to go for a specific time, you can just click into this. It'll open up a calendar and you can pick a specific date and also a time that will be launched for you. When we scroll down, allow downloads, this is what Dan was talking about a little bit before. If you're at all worried about anyone downloading your publications without your permission, you can just leave this unchecked. If you do want your readers to be able to download your content, you can click that. You can toggle this on or off whenever you want. So if you ever do change your mind, you can just click back in your settings and make that update. So now, I've done all my basic settings. Essentially, all that's left for me to do is just click publish. So I'm just going to click on publish over here on the right. And then once I do that, this is essentially pushing it live on Issuu's website. So anyone who goes to my public profile or is searching through our discover function for similar content, this will become a relevant piece of content. People will be able to find it naturally that way. And then you can also go ahead and actually post this to your website or social media, and anything else. You can use any of our major functions like add video content or links. Create stories is our new feature. This is a good tool for promoting. You can select certain pages that will turn into mobile optimized stories. Great way to share across Facebook or any other social website. And then this tool right here, share socially. This is just going to allow you to share your content across any of your major social pages. Always a good way to promote, especially right when you launch something. These are just prompts, but in this case, I'm just going to close this out. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set up my sell settings. Before I do that, I'm just going to go quickly hop over into the publication list. So when I'm here, you can see this is where everything that's just uploaded will live. Newest towards the top, this is the publication I just loaded on here, and then older towards the bottom. From here, I do need to set up my sell settings. You can see I have 2 publications down below that are already available for sale. They're marked just with that for sale button right there. So I need to click into this, and essentially it'll take me back to that same page that we were on before. And then I'm going to go ahead and set up my sell settings. You can see right over on the left, there's the sell button with the little dollar sign. We can just click on this. It'll scroll us down to the sell section. And then I'm going to click put it up for sale. So it's going to walk you through the whole process. The first thing, make available for purchase. If you did ever just want to get things kind of set up, you can always uncheck that. But in this case, we're going to kind of just click this and move along and just add a price. In this case, I'm going to make this publication $5. You can change the currency to anything you want. That's available right on here. So we have, US dollars, Canadian, Australian, British pound, as well as the euro. I'm going to leave this on the US, and then I'm also going to include this in a subscription. So I want this to be available for sale, and I also want it to be, individually, and I also want it to be available as a part of the subscription. So anyone who either makes this purchase and wants future ones, or has purchased a previous one, this will automatically be included in their purchases page. So I'm going to click this button right here. And then I'm also going to set up my preview pages. So when I click edit preview, it's going to open up all my spreads for this particular piece of content. And I'm basically just going to check pages that I want to be available for free. We do recommend people doing this. It's important for readers to get some sort of understanding of what your publication is about. There's no hard or fast rules on how much or how little that you should include in your preview. We typically, recommend anyone doing from 10% or anything around that amount, like kind of at the minimum. But if you do want to do more, that's totally fine. Lots of publishers do that, and it's just sort of up to you and your audience and your specific publication. You also don't need your preview pages to be in sequence. If you want to do pages out of sequence, that's perfectly fine too. You can just check them, uncheck them as needed. So now I'm satisfied with my preview. I'm going to go ahead and just click back to draft. And then I'm going to basically, from this point, this is set up for individual sale. I have my preview pages. I have my price. All I have to do really now is just click apply changes. And then again, it'll push me to this to use some of our sharing functions or any of our other tools, but I'm just going to X out of this. And then I'm going to go back over to my publication list. So once I go back to my publication list, you can see now that it does say for sale. You'll also notice when you upload anything to Issuu, you'll see pending safe mode review. This is essentially just an automated service that we have just to make sure that it's not explicit content. Usually doesn't take longer than a couple minutes. So that will soon be gone. But during the time being, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and walk through the subscription settings. So that was for the individual sale. Now, if I want to work on my particular subscription, when I'm in this section, I can see sell. So once we go over to sell, this is our digital sales page. So this is where everything is essentially going to be set up from the seller's perspective as far as Stripe account. So when you get to this point, basically you can just, if you have an existing Stripe account or if you haven't created one, you can do that through Issuu fairly easy. But you just associate whatever Stripe account it is that you want those funds to be automatically transferred from those purchases over into your whatever bank account you have set up with that. You can click into here and you can either associate a new account or change that if you ever need to do that too. But that essentially can all be done right from here up top. So I'm going to click over into my subscription. So you can see here we do have a separate stats page specifically for people who are selling content on Issuu. I'm not a digital sales, so I don't have any data here that populate, but you would see the number of subscriptions sold, active subscriptions that are still going on, and then also how many subscribers you do see this month. So you can get an idea of what direction as far as how much your publication is growing by looking at this number right here. You will also be able to see the subscriptions sold over the last year. So again, you can kind of track trends or anything along those lines. So what I want to do here though is I want to set up my subscription settings. So below those data points that would be populating right there, I'm going to go ahead and click on subscription settings. And then this is where I'm going to basically set up how often I want my publishing, my publications to be released. Also how many I want to be available in a subscription. So again, when I get here, you can see subscription is available for purchase. So now that means that my subscription is live. So when people do make purchases, they'll have the option to upsell and buy multiple publications at a time rather than just individually. If you ever do need to turn it off, you just come to this page. You can just uncheck this button right here, and your subscription would essentially be shut off. The duration, we have a few preset options here. So, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly. If for whatever reason your publication does not fit into, one of those preset date frames, you can easily just click other, and then essentially all you do is just enter the number of publications that you want to be available in that. So, if you had 10 that would come out in 1 year, you just essentially just click other and just put 10 right here. In this case, for just simplicity, I'm just going to go ahead and click monthly, and then I'm going to put in 12. From this point, I can essentially change the price for the subscription. So if someone goes ahead and they make a purchase of my publication individually, I set it up earlier where it would be $5. But if I want to give them a little bit more incentive to go ahead and make multiple purchases just right up front, I can give them a little bit of savings. So we have this slider bar right here, and you can see these numbers will adjust depending on how much I move the slider over. But essentially, it's just a percentage. So if I wanted to give my subscribers a 15% discount on a subscription of 12 issues over a year, rather than them making all those individual purchases, I could just slide that over there. It'll show you this is what it will look like sort of from the reader's perspective. It'll say the price and then also how much they'd be saving if they make that subscription purchase rather than just individual ones. And then you can also see down here the subscription summary. So this is important to note when you are getting things set up, just to make sure that it is set up the way that you want it to be. So you can see I have 12 issues over 12 months, and that's what I want to do right there. Price is $5 for a single issue. If I buy the subscription, it'll be $4.25 for a single issue in the subscription. So that's that savings that's getting factored in there. And then as I scroll down to, it'll say the percentage, and then also the price per issue. So I'm going to go ahead and, everything looks good the way I want it to be set up. So I'm just going to click Save Changes. And then now my publication is available to purchase. I can either buy that individually, or I can also buy it on subscription. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hop over into one of our active publishers right now, just so you can see what that looks like to be a reader, and to kind of walk through that experience of how your readers will purchase your content and make that decision whether or not they want to buy individual or they want to buy a subscription. So I'm going to go to Sweet Paul Magazine. They're basically a home lifestyle magazine, and they have all their publications embedded directly on their website. It's also available on Issuu, but this is just a good example of one of the things that you can do with Issuu and still sell your content. You don't have to be locked in specifically to Issuu's website. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Magazine. And then from here, I can see their most recent issue right here. I can also click on all their past issues. I can buy all these individually, or I can click on the newest one and buy this individually, or buy this as a part of a subscription. So again, you can see in the top left, the buy button, that sort of green pill that I can just click on. If I was a reader, I just knew I wanted to buy this right away, I could just click here and it'll essentially just take me to a buy page. But if I'm a reader that's just kind of looking through and trying to decide if this is something I want to purchase, you can see I have some pages that are available for preview. So everything that's going to be over here in the light gray, this is what's going to be available in the preview. And anything that's black, that's where it's going to be paywalled, and it's going to go ahead and make a prompt for that reader to make a purchase. So as I scroll through and flip through the pages, I'm able to get a good sense of what this publication is about. And then once I get to this section, it's going to go ahead and make that prompt. So again, I'm going to click on this button. This is where I can go ahead and make my individual purchase, or if I look up here, I can make my subscription purchase. So say if I click this, I'd get 4 issues for $9.99. I'd save $197. So I'm going to click that, and now I'm going to get 4 issues. So it's going to be this issue, and then 3 issues that are coming after that for 4 total. As the reader, all I need to do is put in my email address, as well as my credit card information. The email address is important. A lot of people ask about this is, how do I make sure that my content is secure? And essentially the email address, what it's going to do is create a free account for them with Issuu, which will verify their purchase. That way they're always able to access their content they purchased. And then you as the publisher can feel secure knowing that only the people that paid for your actual subscription or your individual publication are actually able to make that and see that content. So essentially they would just click through that and then they'd be able to purchase and view their content. Again, from the reader side, if I wanted to read that content, I can either go to your website and I'd be able to access it that way, or I can go to Issue's website and I can go click on purchases, and then I can find all my paid content that I bought directly from there. All right, so now we're back at the publication list, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk through also, where people can find your content on Issue. While Issue is a good source for you to, post your content, put it up for sale, you can also use it as a good storefront where people can find your content, in addition to, your already existing audience where they'd be able to find that directly on your own website. So people who are just looking for content to read, they can actually click over in a section we have that's called the Issue Store. So anybody who posts their content, you can have it be available on the Issue Store. Everything in this section is available for sale. So anyone that's coming to this page is looking for content to purchase digitally. So again, a great place for this. We get about 100 million active readers to Issue every month. So we do get a good amount of traffic of people looking for content to consume and purchase. So a great tool just to keep in mind, and this is automatically just built into Issue. So the next thing that I'll go into is just sharing your content. So if you want to just go over and click on publish, you click back over to publication list. Now I'm going to click on this publication that I just uploaded. And then I want to share this. So I want to go ahead and I want to click share. And it'll take you to this page. So we have a couple links that you can use. This is a link to Issue. Essentially, if someone clicked on that, they just go right back to Issue's website where your content is hosted. So I can kind of give you a look at what that would be like. If you click on that link, it would open up into a new tab directly into that publication on Issue. This is good because, not only will people be able to, just click into Issue directly from here, but they can also click on your public profile and click into that, and they can find your other content too. So if you have other pieces of content that are available for sale, that's a good way to do that. If you want to just get people directly to that publication right away, they can click this, and this is our full screen shareable reader link. Essentially what this does when they click on it, it'll open up the publication in full screen mode. And it's not going to be necessarily on Issue where they can navigate around. So you can see, I can scroll through, I can view all the content, I can make a purchase from here still. But even if I hit escape or try to back out, this is essentially all that it is. So it's nice, that people are going to be directly on that piece of content. They're not going to get distracted by anything else. The last link that we have on here is the link to the purchase. So if you want to create a buy now button, put that into an email somewhere on your website, you can copy this. When somebody clicks on this link, it'll take them directly to the purchase page. So great way just to get them straight to that buy page. You can also use these for social media. If you use this link to full screen shareable reader link on Facebook, it will include the cover art. It'll also include the description, and you can add any kind of additional copy there. Creates a really engaging thumbnail. So simple way to do that, just copy and then post that directly to your Facebook page. We also have this feature, create animated GIFs. So if you wanted to click on this and basically create this experience that you're seeing over here on the right, you can click up to 5 different pages. If you have a lot of really visually engaging content, this is a great way to do that. You can download it and you can share that to social media, put it into emails. You can download it either as an MP4 file or a GIF file. The MP4 file is important if you're going to be posting to Instagram, as they don't accept GIFs. So that's a great way to share it that way. You can also add your publications directly to your website. So if you want to go ahead, just like Sweet Paul did, create embeds for your publication, you basically just click add to website, and you can select whatever size you want your publication to be displayed as. You can click start page, background color. You can change the page layout if you ever wanted to just be single page rather than double. Auto flip pages, if you click this, the pages will just turn every few seconds. So if you have this embedded somewhere on your website, as people are kind of looking around, they'll see that content turning while they're on there. You can remove the powered by issue. If you click this, that little bottom rocker right here would just disappear. So it's totally up to you whether you want to leave that or not. Show your other publications as suggestions. So if I click this, and then I'm going to go into full screen, you'll see more up here. So if I click this, these are other publications that I have available for sale. People can click on that and make purchases that way. Also, if they exit out of full screen, it'll display those publications as well. You can also hide the share button. Typically, digital sales, you're not going to want to do this. You're going to want your readers to be able to share your content as much as possible. If somebody goes up here and they click on share, oops, my mistake. And they click on share, they can essentially share directly to their Facebook, to Twitter, Pinterest, put it in an email. They can also just grab this link right here and share that content out to their network. So a good way to empower your fans and just give them a little bit of involvement in your promotion. So essentially, once you're satisfied with that, all you have to do is just click create new, get code, and then this is HTML5 code. From this point, all you need to do is copy, and then you just paste it directly into your web page, wherever you want that to be displayed. The nice thing about this, because it is HTML5, you don't have to worry about anyone having the most updated version of Flash or any sort of compatibility issues. It's built from the same stuff as pretty much all websites. So if they're able to view your website, they're likely not going to have any trouble viewing the embed. The other thing that we have on here, we have iframe. If for whatever reason this does not work, this will work. 99% of the time, this is what you're going to want to use. You can also click link. And again, this is another full screen shareable reader link. Share that out on Facebook, put that into emails. You can even put that directly on your website if you want people to access it that way. So that's essentially it, everything that we have for digital sales. Again, incredibly easy to get set up both for individual and subscriptions. There's tracking there. You're going to see how many publications that you're selling, how many active subscribers. Everything is managed through Issuu, so you don't have to worry about saving anything into CSV files. All that manual work that typically goes wrong with managing a subscription, you don't have to. This will take care of everything for you. So I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their day to join us. This webinar has been recorded, so we're going to actually be sending this out in emails. We may also be putting it onto our website, but this would be available for you to go again and watch and look if you ever do have any other questions. But if you do have additional questions into anything that maybe wasn't covered on this webinar, feel free to reach out to support@issuu.com. We'll be happy to answer anybody's questions. Also hop on a quick call if you do need help setting anything up. But again, thank you for everyone for joining, and good luck with getting everything set up and selling your publication on Issuu. Thank you.